Uh, what's cracking? We in the building.
To Live Down from Fox and your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us. And next up, we want to take you out to Florida, where the Coast Guard today making history as the Coast Guard announcing the largest drug offload in history, totaling nearly $500 million at the Florida port. The U.S. Coast Guard says crews offloaded 61,000 pounds of cocaine and 14,000 pounds of bulk marijuana at the Port Everglades in South Florida. Let's listen in.
Protecting our nation. 80% of all narcotics seized are confiscated at sea, underscoring the impact of Coast Guard maritime interdiction efforts. The U.S. Coast Guard brings unique authorities and unmatched capabilities as the world's leader in maritime counter-drug operations. Every single day, thousands of brave men and women of the Coast Guard stand watch, controlling, securing, and defending our border and maritime approaches. We are proud to serve as a part of the Department of Homeland Security and at all times, one of our military branches. Whether on the water or in the air, the U.S. Coast Guard works hand in hand with our partners. We're on the front lines in the fight against foreign terrorist organizations and other dangerous criminals who seek to flood our community with narcotics, deadly fentanyl, and other illicit substances. To truly understand the significance of this offload, consider this. The 61,740 pounds of cocaine represent 23 million potentially lethal doses. That's enough to fatally overdose the entire population of the state of Florida. Think about that for a moment. Enough cocaine to kill everyone in Florida. That's the immense scale of the threat we face. Maritime interdiction is, without a doubt, the most effective way to stop these deadly drugs before they reach our communities, before they destroy lives and tear our families apart. Under
Wow. Largest drug bust in history. Shout out to everybody in the building. Gauch Merlot in the building. M626 in the building. Shout out to all you guys, man. Everybody in the building, man. Stephanie McCoy here. Yeah, man. We in here, man. We in here. Salute to my man, Paul, man. Paul in the building. He says, keep up the good work. Yeah, man. Every night, man. Every single night, man. Shout out every single night. Salute to you, Paul. Shout out to Pamela Henderson. Pamela Henderson. Pamela Henderson, man. Every night. Every night, man. Shout out to Pamela Henderson. Shout out to Cornelius Brunis, my day one. That's my day one from back in the Disney, man. Back in the teens, man, the 20 teens, man. Cornelius Brunis in the building. He said, way to pay attention to your show. You talking about last night? Yeah, last night I was on point. I slept with my CPAP last night too. I slept with my CPAP the day before that. So I got like rest. He said, "You look like I'm listening to my music." Man, nah, man. Nah, man. I was getting hyped before I started the show, and I had this song in my head. Good love, good love. I wanna know what good love is like. Good love, good love. You don't know nothing about that Anita Baker, man. That Anita Baker, morning, noon, and night. Forever in my life. I want to know what good love feels like. Good love, good love. Yeah, yeah, man. Salute to everybody out there, man. We in the building.
Tonight, Los Angeles police busting what they describe as a prolific burglary ring responsible for 92 home break-ins across the city.
10 suspects, all adult career criminals with prior arrests for violent and property crimes, have been identified.
Authorities say the suspects, ranging in age from 20 to 47, call themselves the Rich Rollin Burglary Crew, part of a South LA gang that uses advanced technology to target multiple high-end neighborhoods.
They are sophisticated. They do things like have the ability to jam your Wi-Fi cameras, jam your Wi-Fi alarms.
The arrests come amid a wider string of home break-ins, from celebrities to everyday residents, like this recent heist showing mass thieves fleeing a home with duffel bags full of ransacked items. The victim saying it happened just moments after he left his home, leading him to believe he was being watched.
We've seen cases where cameras have been put in flower beds across the street from the house.
According to police, during this latest round of arrests, authorities recovered multiple firearms and ammunition, burglary devices, including window punch tools, radios, face masks, headlamps.
I'm going to answer your question in a minute, Cornelius. Trump, listen, this is going to have a cascading effect. His crime crackdown is going to be contagious. Okay? His crime crackdown is going to be contagious. Municipalities and jurisdictions coast to coast are going to begin to crack down on crime just to keep him off their behind. The leader, I know you all heard the term follow the leader, right? Follow the leader. A strong man, when a strong man leads, people follow. Yes, these are Democrats, and yes, they hate him, but he's leading. When a strong man leads, people follow. Coast to coast, every place you see, you're going to see more Grady judges and more Sheriff Judge Joe Arpaio. You're going to see more of those type of police chiefs, more of those type of DAs, more people being tough on crime. Trump is setting a wave of tough on crime. You're nobody if you're not tough on crime. He's setting the pace. Cornelius Bruner says, now that Trump fixing up DC, you think he's moving? You think about moving back? Hey man, listen, I'm not moving back to DC unless, I can find a nice house for my kids at a good price, and that's probably not in the cards. But yeah, I'm not moving back to DC to live in a condo if I can help it. I'm not moving back to DC to live in an apartment if I can help it with my kids. My kids can go in the backyard and play. I can come down in the basement and live stream. I can't live stream in no goddamn apartment. You know what I'm saying? I'm too loud. I get too animated. Plus, you only afford a 1-bedroom. And if you afford a 2-bedroom, one going to be for my wife and me, and the other going to be for my kids. I ain't going to be able to live stream if I move back to DC. And I definitely ain't doing it in the car no more. Those days, those was the days. I mean, I used to do that, man, all the time, man. But you know, I was just a son, man. I wasn't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking about everything the way, you know what I'm saying? I was just being, you know, just being a son, man. That's adjacent, man. Adjacent son, man. Shout out to Cornelius Brunis, day one, man. Shout out to Don Quixote. He says, salute. Genetics matter. Genetics definitely matter, man. It's like the most important thing, man. It's the factory setting. Genetics are the factory settings. Okay? Genetics are the factory. You can put all the upgrades, you can put all the software. It's the hardware. Genetics are the hardware. Okay? Genetics are the hardware. Most important thing. My genetics make me what I am. You know? I'm a product of two people. One FBA, one African. And that's who made me. That's my genetics. That's how made me who I am. Now, the way I was raised and where I was raised and the shit I was taught and all that stuff, you can see that. Definitely. You can see that. But my factory settings, sub-Saharan, man. Sub-Saharan factory settings, man. Yeah, man. Great genes, man. I got great genes, man. I got great genes, man. Everyone should think they have great genes, man. Everyone.
Weekend-long street takeovers across Portland become aggressive towards the police as officers attempt to crack down on those dangerous events.
And Portland police say that it's a game of cat and mouse, with the racers constantly changing what they're doing. Ariel Salk brings us a look at the crackdown.
Police meeting resistance as they busted street racers in Northeast Portland last night. Officers say they were met with mortars and aggression.
Officers were met with very hostile behavior. The folks in the crowd started throwing projectiles, including what we believe to be mortars at officers.
4 people were arrested.
See, that's just completely unacceptable, man. That's completely unacceptable. Okay? Like, and listen, that can become normalized. That's normalized in a lot of these cities. That when the cops show up, people just gonna throw mortars at them and disobey. That's fine all the way in Portland, right? All the way up in the northwest in the corner of Portland. You can't have that in Washington, D.C., man. You can't have that in Washington, D.C., dog. There's got to be some sense of order in the nation's capital. And for 50 years, it's been a lawless land. So if they want to do that all the way over in Portland, and we saw it the other night. Who saw the other night when we showed the Portland in the 80s? Press one if you saw the other night. I think it was me and New Guy. We were the only ones on it. Portland in the 80s. How bad Portland was in the 80s when it was like 2% black. Did any of you see that the other night? It was a few nights ago. Portland in the 80s. Oh man, I gotta chop that up, man. I'm gonna chop that up for you guys and replay it on the channel. Yeah, Roger Wood saw it. It was at the very end of one of the shows. Portland in the 80s, dog. Oh, man, you missed it. Oh, man. Portland was savage in the 80s with 2% black population. They completely destroyed parts of the city. 1985. Yes. I'll show it again. I'll just show it again when I'll find
Folks
it.
in the crowd started throwing projectiles, including what we believe to be mortars at officers.
4 people were arrested and 10 vehicles were towed in and around the Lloyd Center. Police say they saw behavior that hasn't been seen from this crowd in a while.
One of the officers that believes that part of the mortar landed in her car. We're police officers that put on this uniform. We're human beings as well.
This was the second night of street takeovers over the weekend. Portland police say they were aware of plans for the takeover through social media posts. They put together a mission on Saturday, wrapping it up around midnight.
We've had better intelligence on when they're going to occur. I think we are seeing that the groups are doing a much better job of using channels of communication that we don't have access to.
Witnesses saw more than 100 cars racing and doing donuts in the area of Holiday Park around 1 a.m. It took hours for Portland police to respond. They only had 8 officers and 2 sergeants on the Saturday mission. They say they want to increase their enforcement, but it will take time.
I would like to see is for us to get to a place where the missions that we're doing are an everyday occurrence. It's not that we're having to staff up.
Police stopped almost 30 vehicles and towed 6 cars Saturday night. 2 people were arrested. In Portland, Ariel Salk, KOIN 6.
Think about it, y'all. Think about everybody who been following the show for the last year, right? We've been covering this. Remember the blonde-haired judge? He kept violating. This dude violated his probation like 6 times. He literally didn't care. He was out on bond doing whatever he wanted to do. He kept continuously violating his probation. And then he beat it. Can you believe this dude beat that case of killing Young Dolph? We covered him, man. We didn't cover it like, a rap channel or anything. And make sure you support the channel. PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. All you guys are appreciated, man. We covered this. This dude beat that case, man. He's guilty of sin, and he beat it. And I've been there, man. I've been guilty of sin. Nothing like this, but beat cases, man. Guilty is sin. You hear me? I'm talking about I did it. I did that shit and beat it. Hernandez Govan, yeah. He violated, man. Salute to this dude, man. I ain't even mad at him, man. That dude beat that shit, man. God damn, he beat it too, man. Salute to that brother, man. I ain't mad at him, man. It is what it is, man. I ain't got time to be worried about it, man. They took him to trial. They had him on the hook. They let him off. I'm scared to click on this one. This is white crime, man. I'm scared to click on this white crime. The show's going good, man. This white crime pops up, man. Let's see, man.
We have new details tonight about the shooting that claimed the lives of 3 Burnsville first responders last year, including evidence the gunman's girlfriend deceived investigators. Lou Raguse has our top story.
Okay, this isn't really white crime because the shooter was a black. Her black boyfriend was the shooter. So this ain't really white crime.
Prosecutors are going to ask a judge to sentence Ashley Deardahl to 3.5 years in prison for illegally buying the guns her boyfriend Shannon Gooden used to kill 2 Burnsville police officers and a firefighter paramedic. In their most recent court filings, the feds reveal new details, including Deardahl initially lying after the shooting.
Ashley, anything that you want to say?
Ashley Deardahl pleaded guilty in January to straw purchasing, buying the guns her boyfriend Shannon Gooden used to kill Burnsville police officers Paul Elmstrand and Matthew Ruge and firefighter paramedic Adam Finseth. Gooden was legally barred from.
And this nigga was, we covered it here, man. We covered this here, man. This nigga was a savage. You hear me? He was a savage. White girls be knowing how to pick them too. White girls get the pick of the litter with everything. I'm starting to notice that. White girls get the pick of the litter. If it's a basketball player, if it's an entertainer, if it's a thug, they getting the pick of the litter. Because white girls is going down getting these dudes in the jail. They having relationships with these dudes in prison. They writing these dudes letters in prison. All them pen pal websites where you can meet a dude in prison, or you can reach out and to somebody in prison, and it ain't nothing but fat white women, or second rate white women. They getting the best of the thug class, man. The sisters, they got the first dibs because they live in the hood. And they these niggas baby mamas when they 16 and 15 and shit like that. But once these niggas go to the penitentiary, they dealing with white women. Conjugal visits and shit like that, white women. Pen pals, white women. People sending them money, white women. People putting money on their books, white women. They coming home to white woman. Straight up.
Ashley Deardahl pleaded guilty in January to straw purchasing, buying the guns her boyfriend Shannon Gooden used to kill Burnsville police officers Paul Elmstrand and Matthew Ruge and firefighter paramedic Adam Finseth. Gooden was legally barred from buying or possessing guns as a convicted felon. Now, sentencing papers filed by federal prosecutors this week reveal Deardahl was not initially cooperative. She told investigators that she bought the guns as part of her own personal firearm collection. She claimed it was a hobby of hers. According to those documents, text messages between Deardahl and Gooden make it clear she bought the guns for him, as he thanks her while shooting them at the range. Text messages between Deardahl and Noemi Torres, Gooden's ex, reveal more. The day before Deardahl lied to investigators, Torres told Deardahl the media was onto her and was reporting that she was connected to Gooden's guns. Deardahl's response indicated she knew she wouldn't get away with it. Deardahl then writes to Torres, "I'm thinking he, Father of the Year, best thing that ever happened to me, giving me and my kids a nice life. I was trying to help the man helping me." Federal prosecutors.
She thought that some son man criminal she met. Yo, listen to what this white girl said about this thug nigga that killed 3 fucking first responders and who had a lifetime of crime. I'm talking about a lifetime of crime. Now, all this nigga did was crime up until the point he met her. Listen to what this bitch said. White woman. White woman. Woo. You say you would have condos on the moon if it wasn't for us? You would have condos on the moon if it wasn't for sons? Am I getting that right? Isn't that what white dudes always say? Condos on the moon if it wasn't for us, sons. We the reason that they don't have condos on the moon. I think you might want to revisit that. Who's really keeping you from having condos on the moon?
help the man helping me. Response indicated she knew she wouldn't get away with it. Deardahl then writes to Torres, I'm thinking he, Father of the Year, best thing that ever happened to me, giving me and my kids a nice life. I was trying to help the man helping me. Federal prosecutors write that Deardahl bought the 2 rifles Gooden used to shoot at police, plus another one they found in the room. In fact, quote, every firearm recovered from the scene of the shootout had been purchased by Deardahl and provided to Gooden by Deardahl. Along with the guns, hundreds of rounds of ammunition. The feds write that gunfire from Gooden's high-powered weapons lasted an astonishing 15 minutes.
Deardahl's sentencing hearing is scheduled for September 10th. Her lawyer has not yet filed what they believe she should receive for her punishment. Ken.
3 bounty hunters are
From the station that's working for you, this is Fox 4 News at 10 p.m.
Deadly gunshots ring out in the middle of the night in downtown Kansas City. Thank you for joining us on Fox 4 News at 10. I'm Malik Jackson. 2 men are dead and 3 other people are hurt, including a juvenile, after a shooting this morning in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. It happened in a surface parking lot near 13th and Grand Boulevard. Fox 4's Lexi French is live in downtown tonight. Lexi, that video certainly stops you in your tracks. What are you learning so far about what led up to this shooting?
It absolutely does, Malik. And KCPD detectives believe at this point that there was an argument between multiple people in that parking lot just before the shooting happened this morning. Some neighbors woke up and heard the sound of gunfire and say it was hard to count just how many shots were fired.
I heard probably 100 shots, and you could tell there were different types of guns.
The shooting happened in a parking lot near 13th and Grand. The nearby college basketball experience building is left riddled with bullet holes.
It's exhausting.
Matt Cumley heard the gunfire early Sunday morning and called 911.
I was put on hold. I didn't get a hold of anybody. It was about a few minutes later, once the parking lot completely emptied out and everybody was gone, you saw the first cop kind of pull in and stop the entrance.
He'd like to see more action to prevent gun violence and other crime.
It was terrible. It didn't feel like there was a great systematic approach to how to handle that type of a instance, which you would think with the violence we've seen in the city, there would have been more of that.
Safety is now top of mind for one visitor spending several days in downtown Kansas City.
I'm literally walking down to go get some dinner, and I'm staying at a hotel just up the block. So yeah, it makes me think twice about what I want.
These gliders, man. Listen to these gliders, man. Listen to these white folk, man. Listen. There's going to be an about face when it comes to crime. These gliders are going to flip the script on these sons, man. Trump is giving them. Trump is taking all the bullets, right? He's the racist. He's attacking every city with a black mayor. He's attacking black people, trying to get rid of crime. He's taking all the bullets. Watch these white liberals slide in behind Trump while he takes all the bullets and start cracking down on these niggas. Press 1. Okay? Cracking down. Because now you can just, you don't have to be a bag, like, because think about it. Every city that we cover, the crime level is completely unacceptable. Like, it's just unacceptable. But it's normal because living with blacks, like right here in Portland. Well, no, this isn't Portland. This is Kansas City. But Portland, 7% black. Kansas City is a little bit more, but the level of crime when you share a city with blacks is completely unacceptable. Whites have accepted it. They've moved from this neighborhood to this neighborhood, then they move to the suburbs, they move further out, they come back in, and they move, and it's blacks chase them all around, right? White folk have a chance now, white liberals have a chance now to be like, yo, okay, we're going to clean this up before Trump gets here. We're going to clean this up so Trump doesn't have to come. Because if Trump cleans it up, he's going to do it in a racist way. We're the good whites. We'll clean it up in a non-racist way. Okay? And listen, I'm telling you, straight up, salute to my man Muramasa, man. Muramasa in the building. Long, great Ock Nation supporter, man. He says, what's up, Ock? I sent you a link. Trump getting rid of no cash bail federally. Thank God. Especially in D.C., his plan is in motion. The hammer of order and justice is coming. It's here. It's just going to, this is such a large country. Like, it's such an expansive country. You know what I mean? From coast to coast. You know what I mean? We got 50 states. We're like 50 countries, literally. We're literally 50 countries in one. You know what I mean? We're 50 countries in one. And he's leading the way with the tough on crime from ICE to now the federal. He's leading the way. He's setting the pace. Just like in a race, like a long distance race, he's the pace setter. He's setting the pace. And people can't help but to follow because he's so bold. He's so bold and he's so determined. And he's such a single mind that people have to follow. The level of crime living in a city you share with blacks is completely unacceptable, even when crime is down. Okay? So you can say crime is down. We only had 300 murders this year. What? You had 300 fucking murders this year? Yeah, I mean, we had 350 last year. We only had 300 this year. Yeah, man, we only had 1,500 carjackings this year. Last year, we had 2,000 carjackings. So even with the whole crime is down narrative, the level of crime is so astronomical that these jurisdictions and municipalities are still going to have to take on a tough on crime. Salute to everybody out there, man. Everyone hit that like button for me. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Make a comment. Let's go. White man.
Left riddled with bullet holes.
It's exhausting.
Matt Cumley heard the gunfire early Sunday morning and called 911.
I was put on hold. I didn't get a hold of anybody.
He said it's exhausting. What's a synonym for exhausting? Is anybody, class, what's a synonym for exhausting? What's a synonym for exhausting? Oh man, it's happening.
Building is left riddled with bullet holes.
It's exhausting.
Matt Cumley heard the gunfire early Sunday morning and called 911.
I was put on hold. I didn't get a hold of anybody. It was about a few minutes later, once the parking lot completely emptied out and everybody was gone. You saw the first cop kind of pull in and stop the entrance.
He'd like to see more action to prevent gun violence and other crime.
It was terrible. It didn't feel like there was a great systematic approach to how to handle that type of a instance, you know, which you would think with the violence we've seen in the city, there would have been more of that.
Safety is now.
Think about it. Think about what he said. It's very important to listen to these guys, man. It's words mean something, okay? And I know y'all know, but we got some new people in the building, man. Salute, man. Everybody hit the like button. We got some new people here. Listen to what he says. It's very important. This is very important.
Systematic approach to how to handle that type of a feel like there was a great systematic approach to how to handle that type of a instance, you know, which you would think with the violence we've seen in the city, there would have been more of that.
Safety.
He said he didn't feel like there was a great systematic approach by the police to handle this crime. And you would think with the type of violence we've had, they would have had a better approach to this. They would have been able to deal with this better, considering all the fucking crime that we've had in this fucking town. The police still can't handle it. He's telling you the griefs, the gripes, and the grievances of the white population. Wait a minute. I've been living here with these fucking sun turds all this time, dealing with all this fucking crime, and you guys still, when it happens, you guys are still like the fucking Keystone Cops every time it happens.
Gun violence and other crime.
It was terrible. It didn't feel like there was a great systematic approach to how to handle that type of a instance, you know, which you would think with the violence we've seen in the city, there would have been more of that.
Safety is now top of mind for one visitor spending several days in downtown Kansas City.
I'm literally walking down to go get some dinner, and I'm staying at a hotel just up the block. So yeah, it makes me think twice about what I want to do or where to go, or maybe I should order in now.
KCPD.
Think about that.
Dinner.
One visitor spending several days in downtown Kansas City.
I'm literally walking down to go get some dinner, and I'm staying at a hotel just up the block. So yeah, it makes me think twice about what I want to do or where to go, or maybe I should order in now.
Visitor spending several days in downtown Kansas City.
I'm literally walking down to go get some dinner, and I'm staying at a hotel just up the block. So yeah, it makes me think twice about what I want to do or where to go, or maybe I should order.
Listen, you shouldn't have to live like that, man. And you don't. Let's be honest. Shout out to Gosh Merlot. Fatigued. Exhaustion. The synonym for exhaustion is fatigued. Listen, you don't have to live like that, man. You don't have to live like this. Why does this guy have to go? Why can't he go to Kansas City, stay in a hotel down fucking town, and not have to dodge bullets from little fucking sun turds that should have been under the jail years ago? Like the people who are firing these guns in Kansas City, the people who are pulling the triggers in a normal society would have been under the prison years ago if you look at their record. If you look at the record of these shooters, the criminal record of these shooters, in many countries they had already been executed. But in just a Western country, in a normally functioning Western country, they would have been underneath the prison. But yet, he's dodging bullets downtown while he's staying at a fancy hotel in Kansas City. You don't have to live like this, man. You shouldn't have to live like this, man. Shout out to Eric S., man, Ock Nation Hall of Famer, man, coming through once again. He says, I'm just trying to be smarter than average Sun man. Cooking a couple of ribeyes, new adult beverages, 5 pounds of jerky marinating. Just made 25 pounds of perk sausage. Life is good. Man, you made me hungry. You just made me hungry, Jack. You making sausage? Pause, but that sounds delicious, man. Wow. Man. Yeah, I seen that done online. I seen it with the tube and they, pause. 5 pounds of jerky marinating. Man, God, dog. Yeah, man. You doing it. You living the dream, man. The small things, man. Everybody want $1 million, man. Everybody want a Rolex watch and a motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, mansion and shit. But if you got heat and you got fucking clothes on your back and your bills are somewhat up to date and you can sit around and make jerky and make your own sausage, man, you living a fucking life, dog. You living a fucking life. And you ain't got some woman nagging you. Well, that never mind. That that's part of life. You can't fix that part, but whatever.
One visitor spending several days in downtown Kansas City.
I'm literally walking down to go get some dinner, and I'm staying at a hotel just up the block. So yeah, it makes me think twice about what I want to do or where to go, or maybe I should order in now.
KCPD detectives were on scene Sunday morning canvassing for witnesses, evidence, and surveillance footage. Later Sunday afternoon, one man set up a tent outside the parking lot where he was sending a message against gun violence.
Unity in the community is where it's at. Stop killing us. Stop killing us. We don't need.
Think about it. No one said who was doing it. None of the white people said who was doing it. Press 1. None of the white people said anything about the race of the people who were doing it. They laid out their issues, their grievances thoroughly. They spoke thoughtfully about their experiences, all without ever mentioning who was doing all of it. Not some of it, not most of it, not 90% of it, but all of it. Listen to the nigga. Listen to the nigga. The nigga has entered the chat.
Sunday afternoon, one man set up a tent outside the parking lot where he was sending a message against gun violence.
Unity in the community is where it's at. Stop killing us. Stop killing us. We don't need to be killing each other off like that. Gun violence is really senseless, If
Well, it goes without saying, man. It literally goes without saying. It goes without saying. Everyone knows who's doing it, whether they say it or not. Whether they say it or not, everyone fucking knows who's doing this shit. Okay? Shout out to my man Marble 5 on X, man. Salute to you, man.
if you have an argument or an altercation, it could be worked out, But once you pull the guns out, it's no more working nothing out. And nobody wins in that situation.
Well, we have seen some police cars out patrolling the area, specifically in the parking lot where this shooting happened. They've been out here tonight. And again, just to recap what we know about this shooting, 2 men were killed, 3 other people were hurt, including a juvenile who is fighting for their life tonight in critical condition. No arrests have been made, and police want to hear from anybody with information about this shooting. You can call KCPD homicide detectives directly or remain anonymous through that TIPS hotline. Malik.
This is a breaking news alert.
Right now at 4:30, we're continuing our live team coverage of the explosion that rocked North St. Louis County this morning. This was the scene earlier today, Drone 4 flying above to get this view of the massive destruction, the tragedy drawing so many first responders and so many officials to the scene, and still so many questions this afternoon about what exactly caused this explosion.
Only 3 injured. That is a miracle. That's a miracle. Only 3 injured. Wow. That is a friggin' miracle, man. We gonna get to Chicago in a minute, man. Don't worry about it, man. Do not worry about it, man. Everyone hit that like button, man. Smash that like button. We need y'all to smash it, man. We need you to smash it. I need you to smash it. I need you to smash it, y'all. I'm begging you to smash it. I'm begging you to smash it. The like button. What? What? What's wrong with me wanting you to smash it? The like button. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's go.
All right, we've been tracking recent car break-ins across Hennepin County with more than 500 just in Minneapolis. Many of these are connected by juveniles. And with juvenile crime on the rise, we asked Hennepin County what's being done to fix this problem, this very costly problem. Jay Cole's got some answers from county leaders today. Well, Jay, what are they doing?
Well, Lindsay, most law enforcement agencies have a crime dashboard just like this. As you can see, they'll track homicides, robberies, even carjackings, but they don't have anything like this for juvenile crime. The Hennepin County Sheriff says if they had more tools like this and shared information with other law enforcement agencies about juveniles, they could get ahead of this and prevent some juveniles from committing further crimes.
We now know juveniles are involved in the recent rash of smash and grabs in Hennepin County. And law enforcement says these crimes often lead to more violent actions by juveniles like carjackings and this car theft in Minneapolis.
And, you know, when we're talking about trying to be preventative, how are you truly going to be preventative if you don't have the information?
Hennepin County Sheriff Tawana Witt says law enforcement across the county needs a uniform system in order to share information about juveniles to reach these kids before they become.
These niggas ride up on the playground shooting. Look at this shit. Just ride up on a crowded playground shooting. You don't have to live like this, man. Your perception of reality is just warped because when you live around sons, they cloud the picture. It's like looking at a forest of crime, an endless forest of crime. So you become It's kind of like you ever see when like if especially you live out in the mountains or in the town, out in the, you know what I'm saying, not a big city. Sometimes they'll just cut down a bunch of trees and build a development right there, or cut down a bunch of trees and build a mall. And you be like, damn. Like they just raise a whole forest, raise it, bulldozes everything, and then next thing you know, it'll be a mall right there, or a big high-rise building right there. And technically, there's less trees. Technically, there are less trees in that forest. But there's still a gazillion trees for miles and 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 up the hill and down the hill, across the valley and into the ravine and up the mountain. Trees for eons. But technically, they carved out a little place for a mall and they cut some trees down. That's what it's like when these Democrats say crime is down. Crime is not fucking down. There's no such thing as crime being down in these Democrat cities. With these, sizable sun populations, it can't be down. It's just a blip on the radar. Y'all cooking the books, something like that. If crime was down, right, you wouldn't think, no one would think they could come right up on the sidewalk, onto the grass, and do a drive-by at a playground full of kids. Okay? If crime was really down and what it took to get crime down, this dude would have pulled the trigger, put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger and shot himself in the head before he did some shit like this. He would have shot himself before he did this. Salute to Baby King, my man, Baby King in the building, man. Big time Roc Nation supporter. He says, the black man outside, that shit sent me to prison. Why is it so intoxicating, man? It's DNA, man. We do what we're good at. People do what they're good at. Blacks aren't good at a lot of things, man, in white societies. Most blacks are not good at a lot of things in white societies. White society was created by white people. Okay? With a white frame of mind and white sensibilities. We should love it here. We should take advantage of it. But the things that we're good at, the lifestyle that speaks to our soul, is the street life. The street life is what speaks to our soul. The street life is intoxicating. You know what I mean? It's intoxicating for everybody, but blacks, it's easier. Think about it. It's easier to buck and be a street nigga than do everything it takes to fulfill your goals. And I'm gonna tell you briefly why it's easier to be a street nigga than it is to do everything it takes to, accomplish a goal in life or accomplish a career. There's adulation and praise in being a street nigga. You're not condemned. You're not a pariah. Am I right, Baby King? You're not a pariah. You're not a pariah. You're not the dregs of society. You're not banished. You're not uninvited to the cookout. You're not shunned from the rest of the community. There's no penalty from the community. the greater community for being a street nigga. Or being a hood dude. It's not like you like, oh man, I was gonna be a you know, a HVAC technician, but you know, I just decided to be a street nigga, and you know, I got this owned by my community. Niggas is clowning me. Niggas is like, you bitch ass nigga, you out here hanging with us. You should have been you should have started your own HVAC business, man. Man, you could have been a pipe fitter, man. You could have been a pipe fitter, or you know what I'm saying? You could have been a construction worker, man. And you was over here on the block with us, you goofy ass nigga. Nah. You don't get shunned for choosing to be a hood dude over something greater. If anything, the criticism in the rancor or the mocking comes to dudes that do choose another path. A 9-to-5 dude is more likely, even though it's not often, but he's more likely to receive a mocking or ridicule from the black community than a street dude. Now, I'm not saying, dude, everybody, black people going around clowning dudes for being, you know, for having jobs and, you know, having careers. I'm not saying that. But they do that more than they clown street dudes. They do that more than they clown street dudes. Street dude don't get clowned for being a street dude. For being some nigga that just sitting around all day, hanging around and shit. You don't get clowned for that. So there's no penalty. And you can say, okay, you get shot or killed, but that's part of it. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's not like, I'm talking about external. There's no external penalty from the greater community.
Our theft in Minneapolis.
And, you know, when we're talking about trying to be preventative, how are you truly going to be preventative if you don't have the information?
Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt says law enforcement across the...
This your sheriff. Hennepin County Sheriff. This is another thing I would like to see, man. I like to see less of this, man. Salute to this sister, man. I could say she's probably doing a great job. We know she's not. Like, she's not. They wouldn't be doing this special if she was doing a great job. Press 1. If she was doing a great job, there would be no need for this news segment. So she's not doing a great job. But here's the thing. I just want to see less of this, man. Men. I don't even care if it's a black man, Filipino man. I want to see more men in these positions. Crime fighting in its essence is because the criminals are men. How can 95% of the criminals be men? And every fucking police chief is a chick. It just doesn't make sense. The essence of that doesn't make sense. Now, if 95% of the criminals were women, fine. But they're dealing with something they don't understand, man. They don't understand. They're dealing with something that they don't understand.
You don't have the information.
Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt says law enforcement across the county needs a uniform system in order to share information about juveniles to reach these kids before they become violent.
What we do see is our young people are going from city to city, county to county, and with no centralized database, it's very hard.
Why is it difficult to track juvenile crime statistics?
Well, basically, so one thing that we have are privacy laws, right? There's regulations protecting the identities of minors that can limit the availability of of detailed statistics and reports.
WIT says they know juvenile crime is rising, but without that database, it's hard to say precisely by how much.
Get them whatever resources they need so that they're not repeating these same crimes.
And that's what's happening here in South Minneapolis. The county is pumping $20 million into renovating this building with 14 to 16 beds by the end of the year.
We've been $20 million for 16 beds. $20 million for 16 beds to house juvenile criminals. When you really need 1,600 beds. Listen to me very carefully. They need 1,600 beds if they were serious. They're spending $20 million for 16 beds. That's how much of a money pit Negro crime is. Crime is down. Crime is down. Really?
No, juvenile crime is rising, but without that database, it's hard to say precisely by how much.
Get them whatever resources they need so that they're not repeating these same crimes.
And that's what's happening here in South Minneapolis. The county is pumping $20 million into renovating this building with 14 to 16 beds by the end of the year.
We've been waiting for beds all over the state, right? So this allows us to bring kids in, stabilize them, find out what exactly their kind of acute needs are.
Hennepin County Commissioner Jeff Lundy.
Bring the kids in, stabilize them, and find out what we can give, how much free stuff they need. This is a joke, man. That's why I talked about the whipping post last week. That's why I went on that rant about the whipping post. You need a whipping post in the town square. $20 million for 16 beds. So some fucking primate psychopath with like 50 carjackings under his belt can get coddled and cajoled and showered with free stuff at the taxpayer's dollar? Are you fucking kidding me?
$1 million into renovating this building with 14 to 16 beds by the end of the year.
We've been waiting for beds all over the state, right? So this allows us to bring kids in, stabilize them, find out what exactly their kind of acute needs are.
Hennepin County Commissioner Jeff Lundy says after 30 to 45 days, their level of care is then determined, such as mental health or alcohol and drug addiction, and they're placed in a specific treatment facility.
So no longer is it, let's send kids back home and let's hope, or keep them in the juvenile detention center, which is also not a place for kids who have behavioral health issues.
Now, numbers from the Hennepin County Attorney show the number of juvenile cases they've charged so far in 20.
Look at this, right? Look at this. Just look, if you can't see because the screen too far away, but look at this. Look at this. 6,552 offenses for assault. These are the juveniles. 1,400 offenses for burglary. 5,026 destruction, damage, vandalism. 36 homicides. And you're fucking talking about $20 million to get 16 beds to house juvenile criminals? And then you're going to just fucking shower them with free stuff once you get them in the bed? Pause. 3,250 motor vehicle theft. This is just in this jurisdiction. 7,681 larceny theft offenses. In 16 beds is going to fix this. Crime going to be down. Let me refresh the screen. Salute, man. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, man. Where all the supporters at? Where all the people who love Our Nation News at, man? Nobody understands this like this, man. Okay? They can't bring it to you like this, man. They're incapable, man. They just can't, man. They can't do it, man. They can't do it, man. At some point, you can't do it. Yeah, your rookie year. Well, maybe he'll be a better second year. Third year, you've been in the league for 7-8 years, nigga. You can't do it, man. You can't do it like this.
$25 for homicides, assaults, and carjackings are on a pace to say about the same or exceed totals for all of 2024. Reporting live in St. Paul, Jay Coles, 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, Jay, thank you for working to get all of that data. It makes a difference. Another juvenile crime concern we've been tracking is the growing number of kids with guns. Federal agents say in Minnesota, since 2018, law enforcement has seized more than 600 total weapons from juveniles. And the number of illegal guns seized from people 17 and under doubled in 6 years, from 77 in 2017 to 150 in 2023. Just last month, an 11-year-old was shot and killed after pointing a gun at a 16-year-old in Minneapolis.
So you got an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old having a shootout. That's horrifying. Not because of the age of the kids. Fuck it. I don't care about those kids. Those kids will fucking kill you. What I'm worried about is an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old firing guns in public. Shit, man. Like, you talk about, like, a recipe for disaster. Like, a fucking 11-year-old son turd and a 16-year-old son turd both firing guns in public. Horrifying.
6 years, from 77 in 2017 to 150 in 2023. Just last month, an 11-year-old was shot and killed after pointing a gun at a 16-year-old in Minneapolis. Just horrible. Stay with 5 Eyewitness News as we continue pushing for answers about what law enforcement is doing to fight this concerning trend in juvenile crime. And we're talking across.
Salute.
Also tonight, here in Marion County, felony charges are now filed against a 19-year-old accused of shooting at a rival gang member's home. Police are now investigating the ongoing rivalry in Hallville, of course, on the city's near west side. Fox 59's Jesse Wells explains how this case shows the frustration that some in law enforcement have with the Marion County court system.
The shooting at this home near 10th and King took place less than a week after the suspect agreed to a plea deal stemming from criminal charges filed 9 months ago. That resulted in the suspect being given probation and GPS monitoring, which he allegedly violated just 5 days later.
That's why I say whipping post. A whipping post, this kid, so he would have gotten a whipping. He would have been shit running down his leg. He'd have been pissing his shit into the wind. Snot bubbles running down his face. He'd have been exhausted as soon as we let the rope go. Unleashed his hands. He'd have fell to the ground like a sack of potatoes. And it took him weeks to recover, right? There's no way he would have, after that, would he have done this.
The shooting at this home near 10th and King took place less than a week after the suspect agreed to a plea deal stemming from criminal charges filed 9 months ago. That resulted in the suspect being given probation and GPS monitoring, which he allegedly violated just 5 days later. Following a lengthy investigation into numerous gang-related acts of violence, several members of the Taliban Chapa gang were rounded up and arrested last November. One of those suspects was a then 18-year-old Hector Suarez.
Hombritos can get it too. Hombritos can get it too. On the whipping post.
Who was suspected of taking part in violence involving the sale of marijuana vapes at Arsenal Tech High School. Police claim Suarez and other members of his gang frequently posed with guns to threaten their rivals and illegally sold weapons and drugs. Court records show a now 19-year-old Suarez pleaded guilty to drug dealing in exchange for the criminal gang activity charge being dismissed on July 28th. After that deal, he allegedly drove to this home along King Avenue on August 2nd when more than a dozen gunshots were fired into the home. Police believe Suarez's GPS ankle monitor, assigned to him as part of his probation, placed him at the scene of that violence.
It's insane, and then you have people being victimized as a result of it.
Indy FOP President Rick Snyder says cases like this show how offenders like Suarez, who is now accused of criminal recklessness, simply don't fear the legal system will hold them accountable.
It just further proves the point that the revolving door is the biggest contributor to the deadly violence that we have in our capital city.
The home Suarez allegedly targeted belongs to the family of this man, Eric Amaro, who was charged in March along with 8 others for their alleged involvement in criminal gang activity as part of a group called Sir 13, which is a violent rival to the Taliban Chapa gang in the Hawville neighborhood. Finally, as part of his active arrest warrant, Suarez will be held for 7 days without bond pending his initial hearing. Jesse Wells, Fox 59 News.
Now we take you to Morgan County for this.
Shooting puts a woman 7 months pregnant on life support.
Andres Fuentes reports deputies blame it all on road rage.
That just gives you goosebumps type situation.
Community members say they're horrified after violence erupted on North Hoover Street Sunday morning near Ponchatoula. 54-year-old Barry West faces 4 counts of attempted murder after deputies say he shot a teenager who was 7 months pregnant.
The doctors did take the baby via C-section. I think the baby's okay, but as of right now, our 17-year-old female victim is in ICU and is on life support.
Deputies point to road rage, despite there being little to no traffic that morning.
That they were tailgating one another, trying to cut one another off. It's just foolishness. Totally, there's no logical explanation for why they were driving like that.
Many in the community call this shooting devastating.
And are you a mom too?
I am. Yes, I have 3 kids.
And your reaction when you hear that, unfortunately, was a mom in this situation?
Very sad. Sad to know that somebody would even do that or even think about doing that.
Sheriff Sticker says although this is a tragedy that happened on Sunday morning, he says that he hopes commuters will use this as a reminder of what to do on the roadway.
There's no logical explanation why this 17-year-old is potentially losing her life right now over a traffic incident because someone was driving too slow or driving too fast.
Shocking, scary. Never know what's going to happen day to day.
And deputies say West believed someone in the mother's car shot first, but the investigators say that there is no evidence of that.
As you can kind of clearly.
Wow. Jeez. I'll tell you, man. I tell you, man. I'm telling you, man. Woo. Salute to Deluxe 247, a.k.a. Cal Ripken, a.k.a. the real MVP, coming through once again.
As the Trump administration sees results from their crackdown on crime in our nation's capital, the FBI is turning its attention to St. Louis. The city has the highest homicide rate per capita across the country. You can see it here on that map, 52.1 homicides. Our next guest just sat down with FBI Director Kash Patel and secured a historic investment to combat violent crime in St. Louis. Senator Eric Schmidt joining us now. Senator, thank you for taking time. It's really, what's happening in Washington is now about to go nationwide, and you are leading the effort for St. Louis, meeting with Kash Patel. What's happening in Washington is now about to go nationwide, and what's happening in Washington is now about to go nationwide, and you are leading the effort for St. Louis, meeting with Kash Patel. Tell me what transpired and what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation with Director Patel and actually Attorney General Pam Bondi began during the confirmation process. Kash made it very clear that he wanted to get more field agents out of Washington, D.C. and into the field, into the rest of the country. And I said, well, I've got just the place for you, my hometown of St. Louis. And of course, St. Louis has dealt with violent crime for a very long time. And I think what everyone realizes now over this, they had this flirtation the Democrats did with the defund the police and all this nonsense in 2020, is that there's no substitute for a law enforcement presence on the streets and then actual prosecution of violent criminals. And so, yes, St. Louis is going to get the largest infusion of per capita permanent FBI agents with intel officers with the sole mission of combating violent crime. That's where we need. And I'm really glad that Kash Patel.
And think about it. This ain't going to stop the niggas from doing the crime. It's just going to, at least they're just going to get locked up now. This is not going to stop niggas from committing crime in St. Louis. They're still going to commit the crime. They're just going to be locked up now because they're not talking about federal troops roaming the streets. They're just talking about, what did he say? This is different than what's happening in D.C. This is
that there's no substitute for a law enforcement presence on the streets and then actual prosecution of violent criminals. And
yeah, so they're just going to prosecute the violent criminals now. So they're still, the niggas are still going to be acting like animals. They're just going to get prosecuted now.
So, yes, St. Louis is going to get the largest infusion of per capita permanent FBI agents with intel officers with the sole mission of combating violent crime. That's where we need. And I'm really glad that Kash Patel has made this a priority for the FBI. I think this can be a model. When I was Attorney General, actually during the first Trump administration, when we partnered with the U.S. attorneys to do something called the Safer Streets Initiative, where we had assistant AGs deputized as assistant U.S. attorneys to prosecute violent crime in federal courts. One of my former colleagues in the AG's office when I was AG is now going to be the U.S. attorney in St. Louis. So I think you're going to have a lot of synergy here between the FBI, the U.S. attorney's office, and also local law enforcement too, to go out there and arrest and prosecute violent criminals.
And Senator, every week I join a local radio show, Mark Cox Show on 97.1 FM. And just on Thursday, he was telling me, he said, Griff, the people here in St. Louis are starving for what's happening in Washington. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, and I can tell you that the people, writ large across the region, people want to deal with this violent crime issue, but nobody wants to deal with it more than the individuals who are in these communities affected by it every day. And they're tired of cleaning up broken glass on Sunday mornings. They're tired of family members being terrorized by violent criminals. And I think this is going to go a long way in making sure the resources are actually on the ground, arresting these gangs and violent members of our community that are committing violent crimes.
And Senator, I can't bring you on without mentioning your great new book, The Last Line of Defense: How to Beat the Left in court. It's out now. You see it here. I would encourage our viewers to go get it. It's a fascinating story, really talking about a lot of what you did as AG.
Yeah, look, it's really kind of a field manual of what it was like to be on the front lines against the left-wing lawfare machine and win. You know, we're talking about all these successes, President Trump. It wasn't that long ago. There were the dark days, right? It was lockdowns and COVID-19 vaccine mandatory shots, mask mandates, censorship. We uncovered that in Missouri versus Biden. We took all those cases, whether it's vaccine mandates, student loan debt forgiveness, censorship, took all those to the Supreme Court, and we were successful in fighting back. And that's what we need to know, is that this is a playbook of how not just we did it once before, but in all these legal fights ahead, how we can go do it. It's not really written for lawyers, although I hope lawyers read it also. But really, you know, your viewers who are wondering, what was it like to take Anthony Fauci's deposition? What was it like to take the FBI's, the guy at the FBI who was pre-bunking the Hunter Biden laptop stories? Are great stories from the field. I think they'll be instructive for the fights ahead.
The last line of defense, it's out now. You can get it at Senator Eric Schmitt. Thank you for your time.
A woman with mobility issues saved from a house fire today in Southwest D.C. Look at all that damage. Fire investigators are on the scene looking into the blaze.
And with that story that's all new this hour, police say the mother of a 9-year-old did not secure her gun, and that's how that child was able to get it. Channel 2 Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Matt Johnson.
These bitches, Jesus Christ. Worst stewards, man. Worst stewards. Worst stewards. Let's get to Chicago, man. Salute, man. Oh, man.
There is pushback tonight from Chicago's mayor after President Trump's threats to deploy the National Guard. The Washington Post reports the Pentagon is planning to deploy troops as soon as next month. NBC5's Casey Standahar joining us with the latest developments. Casey, lots going on.
Yes, Natalie, it's already happening in D.C. tonight. The U.S. National Guard troops will begin carrying firearms. President Trump called Chicago a mess and said our city could be the next target for National Guard deployment.
Today, for the first time, we heard directly from Mayor Brandon Johnson. He said Trump's plan is uncalled for, uncoordinated, and unsound.
This is costly, illegal, and unconstitutional. I'm going to use every single tool that is at my disposal in order to keep the people of the city safe.
Under federal law, President Trump cannot unilaterally call up the National Guard unless he invokes things like the Insurrection Act. But that's not stopping him from making statements like this.
The people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats.
The Chicago Police Department reported a 30% decline in crime. Governor J.B. Pritzker making a statement saying there's no emergency that warrants deploying the National Guard.
Is he going to try to put National Guard around Michigan Avenue or downtown? Or is he going to go into Englewood or other parts of the city that do have a crime problem?
Former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel appeared on CNN on Sunday and was asked how he would handle crime amid President Trump's plan.
I would say work with us on public safety. Here are the 5 things you could do. Technology to deal with carjackings, prosecuting gangs and gun violence in the city, working on the issues of drugs and guns coming into the city, and helping coordinate task force that deal with confronting gangs throughout the city. Those are the.
Okay. So there's no emergency. I want you to listen to what was said right here.
You're going to go into Englewood or other.
Reported a 30% decline in crime. Governor J.B. Pritzker making a statement saying there's no emergency that warrants deploying the National Guard.
Okay, so there's no emergency that warrants deploying the National Guard. And crime is down 30%. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, guys. We need you guys to support the channel, man. All these streams are demonetized. We don't get a cent from doing this. We need you guys to support the channel. He says crime is down, right? Look at this, man. Let me just show you something, man. Let me just show you something, man. There's nothing, warranting a response from the National Guard. Crime is down 30%. Okay, fine. And it is down. Like murder homicides are down. But a person is shot every 4 hours and 23 seconds. So that means a person is shot. That means 6 people are shot a day, right? All that means is the sons have terrible aim and y'all have the best trauma centers in the country. The sons have terrible aim and y'all have the best trauma centers in the country. Salute to my man Aster J, man. It says, this American glider dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, killing men, women, and children, and yet won't deal with these sons. God damn it. That is insane. That is absolutely insane, man. That's insane, bro. Won't deal with these sons. Drop 2 atomic bombs on Japan, but won't deal with these fucking son turds. And still get called racist. And still get called racist. It don't mean that you're not gonna get called racist though. It hasn't stopped them from being reviled. I'm talking about everyone in the world who hasn't been to America thinks that sons are literally chased around with pitchforks and torches and randomly killed by police officers for no reason. Unless you've been to America, that's what you think. You think black people are just white people constantly tormenting, fucking with, starting shit with black people, chasing them around. Police officers are just, hey man, kill a black guy today, sure, man. Haven't killed one in a couple of days. Let's go kill one. Hasn't helped it. So them going easy on sons has not helped their reputation around the world when it comes to sons. Their reputation in dealing with sons is abysmal across the world. It's completely unacceptable to live in a city where someone's shot every 4 hours and 23 minutes. You don't have to live like that. Someone should be shot someone should be shot every 4 weeks. If Chicago was 100% white, and we know that they had gang issues with the whites, the what do you call it? The untouched. Jesus Christ. He's stupid. Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy. I'll be right back.
There is pushback tonight from Chicago's mayor after President Trump's threats to deploy the National Guard. The Washington Post reports the Pentagon is planning to deploy troops as soon as next month. NBC5's Casey Standahar joining us with the latest developments. Casey, lots going on.
Yes, Natalie, it's already happening in D.C. tonight. The U.S. National Guard troops will begin carrying firearms. President Trump called Chicago a mess and said our city could be the next target for National Guard deployment.
Today, for the first time, we heard directly from Mayor Brandon Johnson. He said Trump's plan is uncalled for, uncoordinated, and unsound.
This is costly, illegal, and unconstitutional. I'm going to use every single tool that is at my disposal in order to keep the people of the city safe.
Under federal law, President Trump cannot unilaterally call up the National Guard unless he invokes things like the Insurrection Act. But that's not stopping him from making statements like this.
The people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats.
The Chicago Police Department reported a 30% decline in crime. Governor J.B. Pritzker making a statement saying there's no emergency that warrants deploying the National Guard.
Is he going to try to put National Guard around Michigan Avenue or downtown? Or is he going to go into Englewood or other parts of the city that do have a crime problem?
Former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel appeared on CNN on Sunday and was asked how he would handle crime amid President Trump's plan.
I would say work with us on public safety. Here are the 5 things you could do. Technology to deal with carjackings, prosecuting gangs and gun violence in the city, working on the issues of drugs and guns coming into the city, and helping coordinate task force that deal with confronting gangs throughout the city. Those are the things that I would say right now, partner with us. Don't try to come in and act like we can be an occupied city.
Now, Mayor Johnson says he and Governor Pritzker are closely aligned on this developing situation. The mayor is planning to speak to the press with an update sometime tomorrow. Natalie.
All right. Thanks, Casey.
I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually. This guy is a disaster. Gavin Newsom's a disaster. When we went, we saved Los Angeles. You wouldn't have been able to have the Olympics in Los Angeles. You're barely able to have it now. They did lose 25,000 houses to a fire that should have never occurred because they didn't let the water come down from the Pacific Northwest, which you guys don't want to write about. I had to break into the water supply to let the water down. And even now, we want more. We can have much more. It's less than half of what should be coming in. I don't know. They have a political thing about it. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I don't like going to a town, city, place, a state, and then be criticized by some corrupt or incompetent governor where crime is rampant. Like, take a look at D.C. Crime was rampant. It was at the all-time worst. It got really bad during the Biden 4 years. And then I have a mayor stand up and say how crime has reached a 30-year low. 30-year low. People are being killed left and right. And it's not a 30-year low. Think of it. So for 11 days, there's been no murders. The record goes back years where that's happened. They haven't seen that happen in years. And then people stand up and instead of thanking us, which they should do, and she's not that bad. She's better than most. But, you know, you have people I watched in Illinois. Chicago, Illinois is a disaster. I have property there. It's a disaster what's going on in Chicago. And you get Pritzker, he's violating our rights. I think this is another men and women's sports thing. I think this is one of those, you know, they call them 80-20 issues. I call them 97-3. I think the Democrats better get smart. And, you know, politically, I hope they don't. But actually, in terms of love for the country, I hope they do, because it will be good to work together. So I'm thinking about, you know, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there. I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick. But I'm really saying, and I say this to all of you, in a certain way, we should wait to be asked because they have cities that are so under control, out of control. So we go in and fix it. They take the full credit for it, and they go out and say, I heard it this morning. They're saying how well they've done over the last 10-day period, that they set record lows. They don't say that we're there with very tough people, by the way. They have to pass the toughness test. Otherwise, they're not working for us. So, and we're allowed to do that now, according to the United States Supreme Court decision. Now, they have to pass a toughness test. If they're not tough, we don't want them for this job. They might be great for other jobs, but not for this job because they're respected. You saw the gang of kids. They were all huddled up, and a group of soldiers walked up. They never even got over. Those kids ran back to their homes or wherever the hell they came from. They were gone. This is one of the safest cities right now in the world, as crazy as that sounds. And it took 7 days. It took really 3 days, but we're now in our 11th day. So I want to thank you. So we had all of these things, 439 illegal alien criminals have been removed. And we have 6 known gang members, some of the worst leaders of gangs anywhere in the country, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. We have 2 missing children that have been recovered. They thought they were gone. We brought them back to the family. The family started crying. They couldn't believe that they saw their child again. 49 homeless encampments have been removed. Like we have the head of South Korea coming in a little while, the president, and he drives down the street. Already, his people have told me, he said, what happened? It's so clean. We always came here, it was filthy dirty with homeless and papers all over the road. That's the other thing. Those roads are swept immaculate, but they're going to be much better in a few months when we put a topping on them. They're going to look like they're brand new. We'll get rid of those rusty old medians that have been crashed into 1,000 times, and they don't fix them. They just let them, they lay them down on the road and they sit there for months. But we don't do that. We don't run things. We run things like we run this. We like clean, we like beautiful, and we like safe, and that's what we're getting. So I'll start signing the executive orders. To me, this is a very, very big deal. One of the executive orders has to do with cashless bail. That was when the big crime in this country started. And I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. People put up money because they just killed 3 people. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization. Okay, let's go. Could I ask you to say exactly what this is?
Of course. So as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime. Of course, so as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area?
Oh shit. Oh shit. So yeah, like I said, man, it's about to hit everywhere, okay? This is gonna hit everywhere. This is going to be a cascade. Okay? A cascade, a wave going across the country. Did you hear what he just said? I think it would be a cascade across the country even without this. Just because his leadership, he's pushing the envelope. This is an issue. No one wants to be seen as, oh, Trump ain't right about us. What crime is down here? Look, you know what I'm saying? And you can't cook the books with so much. So I think people across the country, politicians, Democrat, Republican alike, we're going to get tougher on crime anyway, just because of the president's leadership. But if he's doing this, all this cutting off their money, it's about to be, sons are in trouble. If you love a son, tell him to go get a job, work at Burger King.
Okay, let's go. Could I ask you to say exactly what this is?
Of course. So as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies. And then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area?
Salute to my man Adolf, diversity. Adolf, diversity. Shout out to you, bro. Long time support. Yeah, man. Woo!
Does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America.
Almost all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes.
Yo, he going at Brandon Johnson is a fool, man. Why would you saw the DC mayor, the mayor of DC, she didn't take no, she knew not to get in the fight with Trump, but she a district. So like, the federal district. So she really had to play nice with Trump, but she a sister. She still could have been a jackass. Let's be honest. The mayor of DC, she's a sister. She could have still been a jackass and went to war with Trump over that shit. She didn't know. I give her credit. She played nice with Trump. Mayor Brandon Johnson is playing he playing hardball with Trump. He insults Trump every time he opens his mouth. It's about to be cracking in Chicago.
Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Jesus Christ.
Nonsense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America.
Almost all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Well, good afternoon. I want to speak plainly about the moment that we are in and the actual crisis, not the manufactured one, that we are facing in this city and as a state and as a country. If it sounds to you like I am alarmist, that is because I am ringing an alarm, one that I hope every person listening will heed, both here in Illinois and across the country. Over the weekend, we learned from the media that Donald Trump has been planning for quite a while now to deploy armed military personnel to the streets of Chicago. This is exactly the type of overreach that our country's founders warned against. And it's the reason that they established a federal system with a separation of.
Yeah, but the founders never imagined sub-Saharans roaming the streets with handheld musket. But you had musket back then with the founders? You had a musket. Was the rifle invented? Let me see what year the rifle was invented. Because I don't even think you had rifles when the founding fathers made all these laws. Okay, no, rifling was in the 15th century in Germany. When did it become? Yeah, it was right. Okay. It became like literally like on the battlefield. They got the technology right in like the 1800s. In the 1800s is when they finally got the technology for rifling a rifle down pat. So yeah, when the founders was making these laws, there wasn't even the fucking rifle wasn't even like mainstream, let alone a fucking Glock switch with an extended clip being fired by a sub-Saharan with an IQ of fucking 40. Some of these niggas got IQs in the 40s.
This is exactly the type of overreach that our country's founders warned against. And it's the reason that they established a federal system with a separation of powers built on checks and balances. What President Trump is doing is unprecedented and unwarranted. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. It is un-American. No one from the White House or the executive branch has reached out to me or to the mayor. No one has reached out to our staffs. No effort has been made to coordinate or to ask for our assistance in identifying any actions that might be helpful to us.
Because we don't need to reach out to you, man. It's completely unacceptable, man. And listen, they've driven the homicides down. But for eons, they were high. And the shootings are still high. The shootings are still high. It's just that people aren't dying as much when they get shot. People are still getting shot at an astronomical rate. Okay? All right? People are still getting shot at an astronomical rate in Chicago. It's just completely unacceptable. All right? It's completely unacceptable. And yes, most of it is happening where the black people live at. Okay? It's like, look, let me change that. Let me change that. Let me change that. Let me change that. Yeah, nah, most is virtually all. Yeah, virtually all. This is the west side, south side. Okay, these are all niggas, niggas. Where the red parts are, the heat map. Okay, it's completely unacceptable for those sons to be able to just be. Let me just show you something. Man. Let me just show you something. Let me show you something, man. And look at it. Listen, they've done a great job. This used to be insane. The numbers here used to be insane. But you got a neighborhood in Chicago where 34 people have been killed in one neighborhood. 34 people have been killed in this neighborhood. Hold on. Let me see. Where was it at? Where did that go? Okay, we'll do that next. But here we go. Right here. Here it is. Right here. 34 people have been killed in this one neighborhood. 12 people have been killed in this neighborhood. 14 people have been killed in this neighborhood. 15 people killed. 90 people have been wounded in this neighborhood this year, and that's low. Don't get me wrong; these are low numbers. They hurried up and got some prosecutions down, and they've also cooking the books too. They're cooking a lot of the books there too. So you've had 204 people killed this year, and that's down, okay. And you had 900 people wounded. Okay. So the fatality rate is down. Very low fatality rate compared to the last few years. As far as people getting shot to people getting killed. The shootings are down. It's still insane. It's still insane. Insane. There's no way 900 people, you should be bragging about 900 different people in your city being wounded, and it's August. Only 900 people in our city have been wounded this year, and only 204 have been murdered with guns. With guns. And again, a person gets shot every 4 hours and 23 minutes. There's no reason you should be bragging about that. You shouldn't be able to brag about that, man. You shouldn't be able to brag about that.
Local law enforcement has not been contacted. We have made no requests for federal intervention. None. We found out what Donald Trump was planning the same way that all of you did. We read a story in the Washington Post. If this was really about fighting crime and making the streets safe, what possible justification could the White House have for planning such an exceptional action without any conversations or consultations with the governor, the mayor, or the police? Let me answer that question. This is not about fighting crime. This is about Donald Trump searching for any justification to deploy the military in a blue city, in a blue state, to try and intimidate his political rivals. This is about the President of the United States and his complicit lackey, Stephen Miller, searching for ways to lay the groundwork to circumvent our democracy, militarize our cities, and end elections. There is no emergency in Chicago that calls for armed military intervention. There is no insurrection. There is no insurrection. Like every major American city in both blue and red states, we deal with crime in Chicago. Indeed, the violent crime rate is worse in red states and red cities.
No, sir. No, sir. The crime is. Listen, what they're talking about is like, take a city like Missouri, a state like Missouri. I think that's a red state. Is Missouri a red state? Did it go for Republicans? But you have Kansas City and St. Louis, both run by Democrats, where literally 90% of the homicides happen in those two cities. They're talking about stuff like that. Well, it's a red state. Yeah, but the cities are blue.
Here in Chicago, our civilian police force and elected leaders work every day to combat crime and to improve public safety. And it's working. Not one person here today will claim we have solved all crime in Chicago, nor can that be said of any major American metro area.
DC, they've solved all crime in DC. Most of it, the majority of it. Hit the like, but how many likes do we got? I need a like snitch, man. How many likes do we got? I know y'all hitting that like, but I know y'all enjoying the show tonight, man. I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit, man. But you know. Yeah, every area where there's out of control homicide, like just people just dying. 175. Yikes. If you could, man, hit the like button, man. If you could, man. If y'all could engage, man. Hit the like button, please, man. Salute to everybody who did, though.
But calling the military into a U.S. city to invade our streets and neighborhoods and disrupt the lives of everyday people is an extraordinary action, and it should require extraordinary justification. Look around you right now. Does this look like an emergency? Look at this. Go talk to the people of Chicago who are enjoying a gorgeous afternoon in this city. Ask the families buying ice cream on the Riverwalk. Go see the students who are at the beach after school. Talk to the workers that I just met taking the water taxi to get here. Find a family who's enjoying today sitting on their front porch and ask if they want their neighborhoods turned into a war zone by a wannabe dictator. Ask if they'd like to pass through a checkpoint with unidentified officers in masks while taking their kids to school. Crime is a reality we all face in this country. Public safety has been among our highest priorities since taking office. We have hired more police and given them more funding. We banned assault weapons, ghost guns, bump stocks, and high-capacity magazines. We invested historic amounts into community violence intervention programs. We listened to our local communities, to the people who live and work in the places that are most affected by crime, and asked them what they need.
The black community. Okay, he's talking about black people now.
We invested historic amounts into community violence intervention programs. We listened to our local communities, to the people who live and work in the places that are most affected by crime, and asked them what they needed to help make their neighborhoods safe.
What do you think they said they needed, man? What do y'all think they said they needed? Hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Support the channel, support the channel, guys. We need some more supporters, some more sponsors. Sponsor the show. What do you think they needed, man? What do you think they needed? What do you think they said they needed?
Those strategies have been working. Crime is dropping in Chicago. Murders are down 32% compared to last year and nearly cut in half since 2021. Shootings are down 37% since last year and 57% from 4 years ago. Robberies are down 34% year over year. Burglaries down 21%. Motor vehicle thefts down 26%. So in case there was any doubt as to the motivation behind Trump's military occupations, take note. 13 of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors. Take note. 13 of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors.
What about the mayor, man? What about the mayors, man? Any stats on the mayors? What about the mayors of those cities?
None of these cities is Chicago. 8 of the top 10 states with the highest homicide rates are led by Republicans. None of those states is Illinois. Memphis, Tennessee, Hattiesburg, Mississippi have higher crime rates than Chicago, and yet Donald Trump is sending troops.
Memphis, Tennessee is 65% black. The country is 13% black. Memphis, Tennessee is 65% black. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Let me look up Hattiesburg, man. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Let me see the demographics, man. Let me see the demographics of Hattiesburg, man. %51 black. So the two cities he both mentioned as red, one is 65% black and the other is 51% black. He mentioned those as two dangerous places.
Any doubt as to the motivation behind Trump's military occupations, take note. 13 of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors. None of these cities is Chicago. 8 of the top 10 states with the highest homicide rates are led by Republicans. None of those states is Illinois. Memphis, Tennessee, Hattiesburg, Mississippi have higher crime rates than Chicago, and yet Donald Trump is sending troops here and not there? Ask yourself why. If Donald Trump was actually serious about fighting crime in cities like Chicago, he, along with his congressional Republicans, would not be cutting over $800 million in public safety and crime prevention grants nationally, including cutting $158 million in funding to Illinois for violence prevention programs that deploy trained outreach workers to de-escalate conflict on our streets. Cutting $71 million of law enforcement grants to Illinois, direct money for police departments through programs like Project Safe Neighborhoods, the state and local anti-terrorism training program, and the Rural Violent Crime Reduction Initiative. Cutting $137 million in child protection measures in Illinois that protect our kids against abuse and neglect. Trump is defunding the police. To the members of the press who are assembled here today and listening across the country, I am asking for your courage to tell it like it is. This is not a time to pretend here that there are two sides to this story. This is not a time to fall back into the reflexive crouch that I so often see where the authoritarian creep by this administration is ignored.
Salute to Barry B, man. Barry B in the building, man. Shout out to Barry B, man. We're gonna go to two men were brutally beaten. This is in Chicago. Last night. Two men were brutally beaten during a violent confrontation between two groups of men. One man was knocked unconscious and robbed. This took place near LaSalle Street and Chicago Ave. It's unclear what caused this incident. All right, let's see the incident, man. So, shiesty, skinny jeans, big ass shoes. Unconscious man getting his pockets rifled through. Yo, there's no way we live in a white supremacist nation. Just yesterday, I gave you a black dude, the only black dude in the building. There's 100 people at this second-rate wrestling arena, right? There's a couple hundred people tops. There's one black guy in the entire building. He literally knocked a white guy unconscious and punched him with all of his might 27 times. And he walked out of there without a scratch on him. Press 1. Walked out of there without a scratch on him, with an attitude. Had to be pulled back. Wanted to do more. Had to be pulled back by like 6 white men from going back and punching the unconscious white man some more. And walked out of there without a scratch on him. Today, we got another unconscious white man in Chicago getting his pockets rifled through. And we live in a white supremacist country where white people, black people ain't safe. We not safe from white people, man. White people, we not safe. You know, white people are just, we're not safe, man. There go some white people. I gotta, thank God ain't no white people here, man, because, I would have to leave, man, in fear. And another person going through his pockets. Please help me. She said, please help me. Another white guy unconscious in the street. So we got two white guys laying unconscious in the street. No one rendering aid. No one over there giving chest compressions. No one putting them in a recovery position. Every black person there is just watching. No black person there is rendering any aid to these two guys. And it's not just people involved with the incident there. There's plenty of people standing around recording. Not one black person has rendered any aid to any of these two individuals. Okay? No black person feels this sense of, like, hey, man, let me go over there and make sure this guy ain't choking on his spit. I mean, he's unconscious. Or make sure this guy's ain't choking on his teeth or blood or, let me just be a human being. Let me be a human being. Natural human being. Go over there and, Instead, you got people rifling through their pockets. And this is downtown Chicago the other night. This is normal. I'm telling you, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. And they just kicked him in the head. He just kicked this guy in the head. Now, here's the thing. Could you imagine a black guy being unconscious and a white guy coming and kicking him in his fucking head? This is shades of civil rights. This harkens back to the Jim Crow era, which we've already proved that wasn't that bad. But okay. Okay, some white guy came to help. This white guy right here came to help. Shout out to this white guy, man. He got a little bit of kahunas, man. No different from Cincinnati. Now, what they're going to say, these dudes started it just like Cincinnati? Just like the Cincinnati video that everybody on YouTube did a video on a couple weeks ago. Everybody on YouTube did the Cincinnati video. This, okay? All right? All right? Okay? Everybody did the Cincinnati video. But they got to blame that on the white man because they said the white man slapped him, even though we debunked that. Even though we debunked the whole white man started it with the slap. We debunked that. We debunked that. Shout out to this white guy, man. White guys be letting like last night, man. Rampage Jackson, son. All them white people sat there and let that black dude hit that unconscious white man 27 times. At least this dude helping the white guy up, man. And this bitch come up, are y'all okay? Do they look like they're okay, bitch? Are y'all okay? That's like, that remind me of Pulp Fiction. Who remember that scene in Pulp Fiction? Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames said, "You all right?" He said, "Shit, I'm far from fucking all right." What do you mean, am I all right? You okay? Salute, man. Everybody hit that like button, man. Smash that like button. If you want to, Ock Nation is brought to you by Ock Nation News is made possible by contributions from viewers like you. If you want to support the channel, you can. PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat.
In favor of some horse race piece on who will be helped politically by the president's actions. Donald Trump wants to use the military to occupy a U.S. city, punish his dissidents, and score political points. If this were happening in any other country, we would have no trouble calling it what it is, a dangerous power grab. Look at the people assembled before you today, behind me. This is a full cross-section of Chicago's leaders from the business world, the faith community, law enforcement, education, community organizations, and more. We sometimes disagree on how to effectively solve the many challenges that our state and our city face on a daily basis. But today we are standing here united, in public, in front of the cameras, unafraid to tell the president that his proposed actions will make our jobs harder and the lives of our residents worse. Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, "Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city?" Instead, I say, "Mr. President, do not come to Chicago." You are neither wanted here nor needed here. Your remarks about this effort over the last several weeks have betrayed a continuing slip in your mental faculties and are not fit for the auspicious office that you occupy. Most alarming, you seem to lack any appropriate concern as our commander-in-chief for the members of the military that you would so callously deploy as pawns in your ever more alarming grabs for power. As a governor, I've had to make the decision in the past to call up members of the National Guard into active service. And I think it's worth taking a moment to reflect on how seriously I take that responsibility and on the many things that I consider before asking these brave men and women to leave their homes and their communities to serve in any capacity for us. As I've said many times in the past, members of the National Guard are not trained to serve as law enforcement. They are trained for the battlefield, and they're good at it. They're not trained to arrest people and read them their Miranda rights. They did not sign up for the National Guard to fight crime. And when we call them into service, we are reaching into local communities and taking people who have jobs and families away from their neighborhoods and the people who rely upon them. It is insulting to their integrity and to the extraordinary sacrifices that they make to serve in the Guard, to use them as a political prop, where they could be put in situations where they
So let's go off to DC. Let me drop the link, man. We'll drop the link, man. Drop the link, man. If you want to come up, man, now's the time. Let's go. So yeah, Chicago, man. Listen, bring them in, man. It's time. It's time Every Democrat city. Time to bring the hammer down, man. Embarrass these people, man.
The investigation continues into the shooting death of a 4-year-old boy.
Oops.
And 7 News staying on top of several big new developments involving that federal takeover in D.C. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Scott Thuman. We have team coverage on all fronts this evening. Our Liana Golden is breaking down some of the newest crime numbers that are now trending down, plus new video of a wild shooting caught on camera. Our Christian Flores is speaking with residents who are demanding more action. We'll start with that new video. Rapid gunfire in the middle of a Southeast community. The shooting happening just days before residents in that very same area gathered for a crime walk this afternoon. 7 News' Christian Flores was there, and he asked what neighbors need to feel safer.
The rampant shooting. People blatantly just getting out of their car and firing down the street.
Harrowing. We'll start with that new video. Rapid gunfire in the middle of a Southeast community. The shooting happening just days before residents in that very same area gathered for a crime walk this afternoon. 7 News' Christian Flores was there, and he asked what neighbors need to feel safer.
The rampant shooting. People blatantly just getting out of their car and firing down the street.
Harrowing video capturing this shooting in the Fairlawn community in the middle of the day. Nobody was hurt, but MPD officers found 11 shell casings along 23rd Street Southeast on Thursday.
Just seconds before that shooting, they had just gotten inside of their house, and it could have ended tragically for them.
And there's a shooting within a block of the house. So yes, it's a problem over here.
For shooting like that in our neighborhood, it's just getting bad. We have to take back the community.
Our community, our pride. Community members taking part in a crime walk on these very streets where they say they've seen not only gun violence, but also drug use. In fact, we found needles on the ground.
There's nothing but irresponsible adults who come to the community, smoke crack all day.
They took these concerns directly.
Yo, this is insane. This is DC right now, man. Hold on, man. This before? No, this is actually right now. They got me thinking like, yo, this. What's going on, man?
What's up, Log?
What's happening?
It's crazy times for sure.
Niggas are unstoppable, man. Blacks, when it comes to crime, man, they're still doing crime there. Like, yeah, haven't been no murders. Yeah, carjackings is down.
Where there's crack, there's crime.
Yeah, but this ain't like drug related stuff. This ain't like going over drug turf and shit. This ain't like that. This ain't like that. This ain't like that. This ain't like that. Like the 80s and stuff. These dudes ain't warring over drug turf. This is crazy.
They had just gotten inside of their house, and it could have ended tragically for them.
And there's a shooting within a block of the house. So yes, it's a problem over here.
For shooting like that in our neighborhood, it's just getting bad. We have to take back the community.
Our community, our pride. Community members taking part in a crime walk on these very streets where they say they've seen not only gun violence, but also drug use. In fact, we found needles on the ground.
There's nothing but irresponsible adults who come to the community, smoke crack all day.
They took these concerns directly to the MPD officers joining the walk.
More presence. And, as much as we've called for even an officer to sit out in front of that building and prevent the selling from, they're not going to do it if you're going to sit right there.
Yeah, you can hear the chants really emanating throughout this entire neighborhood. But the community members are not only concerned about the shootings and the drug violence, but they're also concerned about where it's happening, just footsteps away from elementary schools in some cases.
I was shocked, and I was very, very concerned and worried that children could have been caught in the crosshairs. These are, active gun ranges in our school districts. As far as the the surge of law enforcement. Where are they?
More police presence is definitely a must. I really think that's the key to at least starting something.
Christian Flores, 7 News.
You don't say.
Yeah, but the troops are there, right? So you need more troops. You need more federal troops.
I thought it was interesting that as a governor, right, that he said we deploy troops to war zones for combat. It's like, well, that's what you got here.
Exactly.
For even an officer to sit out in front of that building and prevent the selling from. They're not going to do it if you're going to.
They want an officer. These white people funny, man. You talk to, it depends. Yo, you can tell he's like, he has no agenda. Like, he's not like a white liberal who like has a, is talking like he's being heard. This white guy's just talking off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of those white liberals are talking like, oh yeah, this is going to be recorded and someone's going to hear me say this. Let me say what I'm supposed to say.
Responsible adults who come to the community, smoke crack all day.
They took these concerns directly to the MPD officers joining the wall.
More presence. And, as much as we've called for even an officer to sit out in front of that building and prevent the selling from. They're not going to do it if you're going to sit right there.
Yeah, you can hear the chants really emanating throughout this entire neighborhood. But the community members are not only concerned about the shootings and the drug violence, but they're also concerned about where it's happening, just footsteps away from elementary schools in some cases.
I was shocked and I was very, very concerned and worried that children could have been caught in the crosshairs.
These are, active gun ranges in our school districts. As far as the surge of law enforcement, where are they?
More police presence is definitely a must. I really think that's the key to at least starting something.
Christian Flores, 7 News.
Well, the new numbers are in from the White House and MPD as we enter week 3 of the federal takeover in D.C. And that crime data is trending down, including no murders for 12 days and no carjackings reported for 7 days. So we're asking people, do they feel safe? And is the president's operation working?
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Zero carjackings.
No carjackings.
Right. That's the one that, I mean, don't get me wrong, no murders for 12 days is insane, but like, it's so many groups of kids that go carjacking, like going hunting. Like, it's like a crew in each neighborhood, at least, every night out there hunting for carjacking. And now it's like none for 7 days. This is impossible.
Our son's that afraid of the feds? Like, what's going on here?
Well, you see, there's still shootings and there's still stuff. It's just like most
minimized.
Yes, minimized. Yeah. Said this is insane. And those are the two most dangerous things. Nothing's more. Robbery's less dangerous than a carjacking. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Robberies are dangerous. I'm not saying they're not. But carjackings, man. Somebody come, put a gun to your head and fucking, snatch you up out of your car and shit. It's just so many things can go wrong. So many things.
Seven News' Liana Golden has their answers from Navy Yard.
Well, it was a seemingly quiet weekend crime-wise here in the district, and what appears to be another low-key night here in Navy Yard, where the sight of soldiers patrolling the streets has pretty much become the norm at this point. Efforts some people believe are working, while others have had enough.
I think it's great. I feel very safe. I'm a little torn on the takeover.
I just thought it was stupid. Mixed opinions in D.C. Monday, 3 weeks since President Trump deployed the National Guard to city streets. We spotted them in Navy Yard, the National Mall, and the Wharf, many with weapons now at their sides.
Today,
On August 25th, we are in our 12th day of no homicides.
U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro took to social media, touting her boss's efforts.
The deterrent effect of all that's going on as a result of the president's move to make D.C. safe and beautiful is literally changing the safety landscape of Washington.
There's that word safety, which some locals believe has become more of a political poker chip than genuine efforts to protect them.
I think it's great to have a safer city. And, I want to feel safe. I want everyone else to feel safe. I feel like it's a very domineering show of force that's unnecessary.
It's still a city, and there's going to be crime, whether or not there's a heightened presence of police or agents or what have you. Nothing they do is going to absolutely curb violence and crime.
Others, meantime, support the
No
increased
shit.
patrols and federal presence.
I'm good with it. I was a soldier myself. I think it's important for people from out of town and out of the country to feel safe in our nation's capital.
The administration says there have been just over 1,000 arrests since this operation began. MPD, meantime, tells us there were no reported carjackings for 7 days straight from August 18th to yesterday, the 24th. In Navy Yard, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
And while there haven't been any carjackings in D.C. in a week, new tonight, Customs and Border Patrol agents say they did stop one in progress. The agency shared these new photos, and we're told that the suspect tried to take off but was caught and now faces several criminal charges. And tonight, President Trump is now focusing on D.C.'s cashless bail system. Currently, most nonviolent offenders can get released without having to post bond before their trial. In an effort to get around that, Trump signed an executive order instructing his safety task force in the city to pursue federal custody and federal charges whenever possible. Mayor Bowser is now responding.
Cashless bail. Can't be against that. Literally, please tell me you're not against this movie. Literally. This, even if, here's the thing. This, why would you not be for this? You're not a criminal. Do you know the you would have to know every criminal in the city personally, and they each be your friend to be yeah, well, you don't know these people. They've just shot somebody. They should why are you defending? Why are you protecting?
Well, that's where they lie, Ock. He just said that it's non-violent offenders. That's a lie. He's lying.
Okay, whatever. Oh, AP in the building. Shout out to AP, man. Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, and Super Chat. We need a few more supporters on the board tonight, man. Y'all boycotting the show for the last couple of days. We need y'all to support the channel. Go ahead, AP. The floor is yours, man.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh, your mic's all the way fucked up.
Oh no, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
No, go out and come back.
Not good.
Okay.
I'll wait for
Okay. Okay. I'll just keep going. I'll come back.
it. All right. Jeez.
AP always got mic issues.
Mayor Bowser is now responding.
Definitely.
Cashless bail is not a new phenomenon in the district. I think it's been in place since the mid-90s. But what does work, and I hope that this is under consideration, is to give judges or require judges to hold certain accused pre-trial.
The Trump administration argues that cashless bail contributes to rising crime. But supporters say the system prevents the unjust detention of people.
None of these niggas are unjustly detained. This is the thing about it. They create this bullshit that it's a bunch of black thugs that are, beefing with each other that are being wrongfully detained. No, it's the nigga did it. 99% of the time, the nigga they catch on the scene or the nigga they catch is the dude who shot the fucking gun. And if it's not worth changing the entire system for one, maybe 2 or 3 dudes a year to not get wrongfully convicted. I mean, not convicted, wrongfully held in custody until the trial. You're literally putting the entire city in jeopardy over something that may happen 2 or 3 times a year. We're like me and KB, we on the scene. I shoot the dude. Both me and KB run. He run that way. I run this way. They catch both of us. I done threw the gun.
I'm snitching.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, right. But they catch you. Yeah, neither one of us give a statement and shit, and they lock both of us up, and the trial come and they found the gun and they found a witness and they found out that I did it. And technically you were held, you know what I'm saying, wrongfully for all that time until the trial. But motherfucker, you didn't say shit. And you was right there with me. That's how
Well, that's the felony murder, that whole deal.
Yeah, that's how.
Get rid of that.
That's how motherfuckers. What the white people don't understand. Like they think that it's just random black people. Like it's like the fucking mailman and shit. He goes out to get the fucking goddamn Chinese food at night and shit. After he's off his shift and some fucking cop just tackles him. Hey, you did the shooting down the street. No, it ain't like that. White people gotta stop being stupid. At some point, you gotta stop being fucking stupid.
They must think all sons look alike.
Yeah, man. It's not like that. It's not. That's just not what happened. And they're not just grabbing random sons when a crime happens. That is not what happens at all. Not at all.
People who can't afford bail.
Developments this morning on the federal takeover in D.C. Customs and Border Patrol agents are now teaming up with.
Oh, let me see if she back in the back. No, she's not back in the back. She's not back in the back with the back of the act. She's not back in the back with the back of the act.
Seems odd that they would say alleged assault.
Yeah.
That video title.
Yeah. Let me see something. What's the one that I was looking for?
I mean, it was live streamed. Like, it doesn't get any more cut and dry than that.
I'm telling you, man.
And maybe we won't have to do this. Hey, Vince, come on now. We're going to take this. We'll do the sidewalk.
Hey, maybe you could do a siren or a horn beeping or something.
A siren or horn beeping? I gotta stay neutral.
Yeah. Come on, what's neutral about this?
Sheila says she's with us. Are you guys about to start?
Yeah,
Just the group, the general group?
Yep.
Just my say, everybody. How you talk?
Yeah, come on, she's coming over.
All you gotta do is.
Oh, you do got it, yeah. Okay, turn them all on. Okay.
Now you can talk.
Okay.
Okay, so take back our block, take our street. This is our.
Crime walk. Jesus Christ.
Today, the House Oversight Committee announced a congressional investigation into allegations D.C. police leaders have been cooking the books, if you will, deliberately falsifying crime stats to make the city appear safer than it really is.
So the mayor and the police chief have used declining crime numbers to argue against President Trump's push for federal law enforcement control. But these allegations aren't necessarily new.
No, not at all. Our chief investigative reporter, Eric Flack, initially reported on these accusations of underreporting back in 2020. We're going to circle back to that in just a minute. But first, Flack, walk us through this current congressional investigation.
Okay, so here is that 4-page letter sent from House Oversight Chair James Comer to Police Chief Pamela Smith. The letter says an unnamed whistleblower with knowledge of internal MPD operations is alleging crime statistics were manipulated on a widespread basis at the direction of supervisors within MPD. The whistleblower told the committee all 7 patrol districts are impacted and that MPD leadership routinely instructed district commanders to downgrade charges to artificially reduce certain crime statistics. Now, for months, DC officials have been pointing to what they say are declining crime stats as proved that President Donald Trump's dispatch of federal law enforcement to DC was not necessary. The Justice Department launched its own investigation into DC crime stat reporting just last week.
You know, Flack, we can debate the numbers back and forth, but we know the House Oversight Committee is demanding that DC police make 8 current and former commanders within the police department available for interviews. But they also want MPD to turn over a bunch of documents, including some of those that you're talking about, those underreported allegations that you brought to light 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a story that we first brought to light in 2020. We spoke exclusively with MPD Sergeant Charlotte Jassu. Now, Jassu, who was then a 15-year MPD veteran, went public in our exclusive interview with allegations senior officials falsified crime statistics. She claimed DC police supervisors ordered investigators to downgrade crime classifications from more serious crimes to less serious ones to make the city's crime stats look better. Here is some of what she told me back in 2020.
It's not okay to lie to the community about what's going on around them.
And that's what you saw happening?
And that's what I saw happening.
Jassu filed a lawsuit against MPD claiming retaliation for reporting the alleged crime underreporting to her supervisors. MPD settled that lawsuit with Jassu in June, and now the House Oversight Committee wants a copy of that settlement agreement. Jassu remains on MPD. She is currently on leave, and her last day is October 1st. Her attorney had no comment on this congressional investigation. Guys?
Yeah. Clearly, with all these investigations, there's a lot more to sift through.
Yeah, a lot to uncover. We know you'll be following it for us. Flack, thank you.
So they've been doing it for the last 6 years.
You may notice National Guard troops in D.C. are now carrying weapons. That new order came from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The Pentagon previously indicated National Guard members could be armed if circumstances warranted. But this new directive is a notable shift in guidance, suggesting hundreds of troops in D.C. will now be carrying weapons.
We also have updated numbers on the crime crackdown in D.C. So the White House says more than 900 arrests have been made since August 7th. That includes 5 known gang members. Saturday night alone, there were 93 arrests. 46 of those were people in the country illegally.
And another part of President Trump's plans for D.C. are to beautify the city. He's asking Congress for $2 billion to make that happen.
$2 billion. But that plan already facing backlash. Straight out live to 7 News reporter John Gonzalez near the White House to explain. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Adam, and my photographer, John, and I were just looking at a map. Yeah, so just to give you an idea of the area here, the White House to RFK Stadium is about 3 miles. So, yeah, the president is asking Congress now to help with his plan to make D.C. safer and more beautiful. He's asking for this $2 billion to beautify the area around the White House, specifically a 3-mile radius around the White House and the Capitol, including streetlights, roads, and infrastructure. But this plan is already getting sharp criticism. Now, task force beautification has already begun. Cleanups around the National Mall and metro stations with soldiers and airmen joining local police over the weekend. But critics say the money is misplaced. Mayor Muriel Bowser arguing that if Congress simply returned the $1.1 billion cuts from D.C.'s budget earlier this year, remember that? The city could handle its own improvements. Here's the president claiming victory.
National Guard has been unbelievable, and they're working with the police, and they have some very good people in there. They have some people that shouldn't be police, actually, but they have some great people there. And the Washington, D.C. is a whole different place, and Johnny, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that too, actually.
Oh, yes.
But it's a whole different place. People are excited again. They're going out to restaurants again.
The president says his $2 billion plan to beautify the area around the White House would be completed within a year, but now it is up to Congress to decide if it would fund a project like this. Reporting live at Union Station, which is within.
Guy's hairpiece is horrible. You need
It
to go.
is.
Jesus Christ, man. His hairpiece is dreadful. Shout out to Dina, man. Dina says, liking the new show format. Salute to Dina, man. Dina in the building, man. Shout out to Dina.
It's insane to think that they would let the National Guard go out there unarmed. Someone's taking a pot shot at him.
Yeah, you gotta arm these people, man. That's just true, man. It's too dangerous with sons, man. You know what I mean? Like, and the last thing you want is like footage of like your National Guardsmen running for the hills when something happens with the rest of the civilians. Like they're ducking for cover with everybody else. That's just a bad look.
And the 3-mile radius. John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Thank you, John. And now a look at D.C.'s youth curfew and just how effective it is at reducing crime. Along with the citywide curfew, D.C.'s Youth Street corridor was designated a temporary juvenile curfew zone over the weekend. 2 women who live in that area expressed skepticism about the effort.
It's kind of like a reactionary step instead of, I don't know, maybe like providing more services for teens, like making sure they have places to go after school.
I mean, we have had some car break-ins, but I'm not sure that is going to solve the crime issue in this area.
Now, D.C. police have also designated the Navy Yard area a juvenile curfew zone multiple times. This was in response to teen takeovers there and a shooting weeks ago.
All right, well, President Trump, he is doubling down on his criticism of crime in Baltimore and is now saying he could rescind federal funding for the reconstruction of Baltimore's Key Bridge. In a post on social media, President Trump says he will have to, quote, rethink the funds for the bridge, which collapsed last year. Now, this comes after Maryland Governor Wes Moore asked Trump to come walk the streets of Baltimore together. In his post, the president describes the request as nasty and provocative. Trump said Baltimore is, quote, out of control and crime-ridden. The president and Governor Moore have been clashing on social media over the president's deployment of the National Guard. Yesterday, the governor described Trump's efforts as a violation of the Constitution.
It's unconstitutional. It's a direct violation of the 10th Amendment. And for a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety.
Trump has repeatedly threatened to withhold federal funds from Democratic-run cities and states. A federal judge last week blocked the administration from defunding dozens of so-called sanctuary cities, including Baltimore, for refusing to cooperate with his immigration crackdown. Now, apart from Baltimore, Chicago is also on a list of possibilities for National Guard deployment. The Pentagon has reportedly drafted plans to also send troops there.
Takeover of DC police. The National Guard is putting a strong focus on 10 metro stations: Foggy Bottom, Smithsonian, Eastern Market, Stadium Armory, Waterfront, McPherson Square, L'Enfant Plaza, Gallery Place, Metro Center, and Noma. WMATA tells us federal officers are also helping Metro Transit.
Yeah, go ahead, hold it down for me, KB. Speak to the people.
Seems to me that these people complaining would say that the means justify the ends. Or I'm sorry, the ends justify the means. But they got a real problem with Trump using the National Guard. Hey, shout out to Wakanda Lisa Rise. What kind of ice cream do you guys think Ock is going to get his partner? It's going to be real awkward too if the DC situation keeps up and just there's no murders or carjackings. They're going to really have a tough time with that one.
Yeah, man.
Police at bus bays throughout the system. And new video of Guard troops in Navy Yard last night. We're learning some guards were outside Nationals Park. The first we have seen them there so far, despite games all weekend. Now, this comes as troops from West Virginia could be activated today. Let's go to John Rogers at the alert desk for more. John, good morning.
Yeah, Adriana, good morning to you. In the coming hours, we're expected to see National Guard troops from West Virginia patrolling the streets of D.C. Now, defense officials say they will be tasked with helping their district counterparts carry out President Trump's crackdown on crime. And even more troops could be coming. At least 5 Republican governors from other states say they're deploying Guard members too, but the Republican governor from Vermont is not sending any, saying policing is not their job. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says this influx of National Guard troops is unnecessary.
Officials say more than 450 people have been arrested since the start of the crackdown, but Mayor Muriel Bowser is pushing back, saying the city could get the same results with more local officers. Our 7 News reporter John Gonzalez is live at the D.C. Armory, and he's got the latest on this. John, good morning.
Melanie, good morning. And that number stands at 465. That's how many arrests federal officials tell us have occurred since the president ordered more agents and more National Guard troops from other parts of the country. And here at the D.C. Armory, more of those out-of-state soldiers are arriving this morning. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the arrests include an MS-13 gang member with prior drug and DUI convictions and dozens of others facing charges ranging from homicide and assault to firearms and narcotics offenses. Bondi insists the city is safer this morning, but Mayor Bowser disagrees. She argues D.C. could get the same results if the Metropolitan Police Department had 500 more officers without what she calls a commandeering of the force. The White House is reiterating the Guard is not making arrests, but now some may be armed to protect federal agents and deter violent crime.
The crime is minimal here. There's not really a lot of crime here. They're not going to come down here and mess with the tourists and stuff. So they should be deployed all over the city if he's going to deploy them, not just in one area. It looks like window dressing to me.
There is no takeover. What there is a surge in federal law enforcement. And that surge in federal law enforcement necessarily has to coordinate with the Metropolitan Police Department under the leadership of Pamela Smith.
As for the homeless in the city, well, we understand that nearly 50 homeless encampments have been removed since the operation got underway last week, though officials say residents have relocated voluntarily in most cases. Reporting live at the D.C. Armory, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
John, thank you. And happy.
Hey, Huck, you want to guess the racial demographics for Vermont? I think you're muted.
I'll say Vermont is 94.5% white.
Pretty much, yeah. It's 1% son.
1%.
Coincidence?
Oh, yeah, I mean, what's the white percentage?
Over 90, says Google AI.
That's some goddamn Latino there, man. They can cause some trouble too, but not as much as sons.
There's more Asians than sons.
Oh, then you're good. Yeah, you good, dude. You good. Asians are the model minority, man.
Hey, the Democrats are not going to be happy with DC mayor. She said there's no takeover. That's CNN's not going to be happy either.
Yeah, I mean, they won in court. They fought, but he is still stopping. Like Sons think it is. As long as Sons see it, they see police, they see the National Guard, and they know that. Like, look, if I shoot somebody now, I'm not getting away with that shit.
They taking over.
Yeah, all Sons know if they kill somebody right now, you ain't getting no mammy judge. You getting a federal judge. You not getting, your judge ain't gonna be some black woman with big goofy eyeglasses and a fucking blonde fucking afro or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You getting a fucking mean ass federal judge on your case and a federal prosecutor.
They'll send your ass to whatever that prison is, Colorado, Florence, ADX Florence.
Yeah, you in trouble if it's a different ball game still. Even though it's not technically a takeover, it's a takeover. It's a takeover. You can't do what you want no more.
Yeah, speaking literally, the streets are no longer the Sons'
Yeah, Sons have lost
territory to roam.
Exactly. And yes, some are still going to do some shit, but it's only some. And if they get caught, it's finito. I'm talking about it's a wrap, my G. And then he's talking about the biggest thing he's talking about though is getting rid of that Cassius bail. That is going to drop crime because repeat offenders. It's pretty much the same Sons over and over again. It's literally like they say 1350. And we know it's about 1365, right? It's probably 1365 if we really being honest. I'm gonna say if you just look for real raw numbers, it's probably literally 1.5% of the population that's committing 65% of the homicides.
I'd go with 75.
Yeah, because every Son is not a street dude. Every Son is not a gangbanger. Now, those Sons do commit homicides. See, the big problem with that is that it's a lot of Sons that commit homicides that just from impulse control, just from not having any control over their impulses. And that could be any Son. It could be like the father of an NBA player. Like the other day, we did the story. The father of an NBA player stabs somebody 25
Yeah, 7
times.
foot, 300 pounds.
Yeah, 25 times in public in front of like 80 witnesses. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Then we got the fucking kid the other day, Raja. Let me do this story. Let me
You may notice National.
Today, the House Oversight.
Let me go ahead and update on
Yeah.
that, man.
Has he been arrested yet? Good Lord.
I'm about to show the update on it. Let's see. Here you go.
Developing tonight, an attack inside an LA wrestling ring. The son of former UFC champion Quentin Rampage Jackson is accused of brutally beating a wrestler. KCAL's Gio Insignaris walks us through what happened as police investigate.
The victim, Stuart Smith, is still recovering in the hospital, according to his brother, who posted on social media that he is stable but receiving critical care. Meantime, LAPD is involved in this case, and the venue where this all happened said this is reprehensible and never should have occurred.
What was supposed to be a wrestling match Saturday night in Sun Valley at the Knox Pro Wrestling Academy instead turned out to be anything but scripted.
When I first saw what happened, I was completely shocked and stunned and felt terrible for the guy.
In the ring, Raja Jackson body slams wrestler Stuart Smith, known as Psycho Stu. The 25-year-old then throws multiple punches to Smith's head, even as the wrestler appears unconscious on the mat. Other wrestlers rush in to drag Jackson away. Police say they were called to the location around 9 p.m., but when officers got there, the suspect was gone. A felony battery report was taken, and detectives are now investigating.
He's not a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
I think I think whoever allowed him to come in shouldn't have.
Keita Rush is a pro wrestler with WOW, Women of Wrestling. She says this situation was far from normal. The incident also drawing a reaction from Jackson's father, the former UFC light heavyweight champion Quinton Rampage Jackson. In a post on X Saturday night, he said the assault was part of a previously planned performance that went wrong, and that Raja was told he could get payback after Smith hit him with a drink can earlier in the day. In another video, you can see Smith, who appears to hit Jackson on the head with a drink can. The two then stare each other down. Quote, "I thought it was part of the show," Jackson wrote, adding it was bad judgment and that he doesn't condone his son's actions.
Every slam is real. Every impact is real. We're just prepared. And Stu was not prepared for what was about to happen because it
can't be prepared for that.
On social media, Smith's brother wrote that Smith, quote, "is conscious and does have some recollection of events from the day of the attack." Smith previously said his brother was stable at the hospital, but in critical care. In a statement, Knox Pro Wrestling Academy condemned Jackson's actions, calling them heinous, and shared thoughts and prayers for Smith's recovery. Quote, "What was supposed to be a planned and agreed upon wrestling spot turned into a selfish, irresponsible act of violence against Mr. Smith. This egregious act is reprehensible and never should have occurred."
We got to know when we, as pro wrestlers, who's in on it, who's not. You can't just go up to people and expect them to react the way my fellow wrestler peer would.
No arrests have been made in this case so far. Meantime, a fundraising page has been set up to help with Smith's recovery. I'm Gio Insignares.
It's quite a deflection. Oh, he wasn't a pro wrestler. That's why he did it. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Rapper Lil Nas X out on bail tonight after his bizarre early morning stroll through Studio City last week. The video obtained by TMZ raised a lot of concerns among fans.
KCAL's Lori Perez live tonight on Ventura Boulevard, where Lil Nas X was arrested. And Lori, his dad, speaking with reporters outside court
Yo, did you hear what he said? Let me rewind this.
today.
He did, and he is asking for prayers tonight after this troubling moment for the acclaimed rapper and singer. This is Ventura Boulevard, where, as you mentioned, Lil Nas X was arrested after passersby spotted him walking down the street wearing next to nothing.
No, 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 no.
This video, obtained by TMZ, shows Lil Nas X nearly nude, but for underwear and boots, singing and talking nonsensically as he walked in the middle of Ventura Boulevard just before 6 Friday morning. Witness videos tracked him for about a mile on the busy Studio City Road before police arrived and took him to a hospital, they said, for a possible overdose. Today, in a Van Nuys courtroom, the singer and rapper, whose real name is Montero Hill, appeared subdued after a weekend in county jail. He waived his arraignment and entered a not guilty plea to 4 felony counts. Police say when they found him, he charged at them and punched an officer.
Just keep him in your prayers.
After the court hearing, the performer's father did not clarify if it was a substance abuse issue or mental health break.
He's in good spirit. He's all right. He's very remorseful for what happened, but it can happen in any family, he's going to get the help that he needs. We shed tears.
No, it can't.
We shed laughter, but he's in great spirit.
The Grammy winner has hired high-profile attorney Drew Findling, who famously represented Donald Trump in his election interference case. He echoed the family in asking for understanding, saying it's far too early to know what exactly happened.
You very rarely have in these court buildings see somebody 26 that has never stepped into a courthouse before, never been in trouble, not for a split second in his existence. So we're not going to let one little event change the trajectory of this amazing life.
The 26-year-old is out of jail tonight after getting bailed out. Bail was initially set at $300,000, but lowered to $75,000 with the condition he participates in drug treatment. Lil Nas X has no prior convictions.
Pray for him, think about him, root for him, cheer him on, and don't forget all the success that he had, and just don't judge somebody by the worst moment in their life.
Now, the district attorney says if convicted...
I promise you that wasn't the worst moment in his life.
No bullshit.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man. Any final thoughts, man?
Thanks, Huck.
Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of it.
Salute.